I am a wife of, I believe, 14 years. After you've been together so long, you kind of lose track of time. I have two adult sons. They are 18 and 19 years old. Something interesting that you don't know about me is I have chronic kidney disease, better known as CKD stage 5. I started having these symptoms in my early 20s. I am 37 years old now. During that time, doctors, stressed that later in life I could possibly have problems with my kidneys due to my uncontrolled diabetes. Since that time in 2013, I was admitted in the hospital. I became very ill. They had ended up doing the kidney biopsy and revealing that I had CKD stage 3. About 2 years went past, and November 9th, 2015, I was diagnosed with CKD5. My kidneys had completely failed. They were functioning, I believe at the time, below 15 or 10%. I immediately started dialysis. I had a catheter placed in my chest, and I also had a graft placed in my arm. As far as the prognosis, I was told that I would start to feel a lot better now that I would be removing the toxins from my body, that I would notice overall a difference in the way I felt. That difference really hasn't been too good. So, staying alive, it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of willpower. It takes fighting when you don't want to fight. But the other thing, or the major thing that helps with all of that, is the dialysis. So I started dialysis, hemodialysis, in November. I was totally dumb to what dialysis meant and what it did. I learned along the way. I had done dialysis, until July of 2016. And then I switched to peritoneal dialysis. So when I was doing the hemodialysis, I was doing that every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, about 5:45 in the morning. I was on for about 3 hours and 15 minutes to about 4 hours. The reason why I switched is because I was noticing a lot of my dialysis buddies, their chairs were becoming empty. Not because they stopped coming, but because they passed away. And I just couldn't deal with that heartache. The stress of the hemodialysis was taxing on my body. I was getting tired, nausea, vomiting, in and out of the hospital for blood clots to my graft, just a ton of things. And like I said, I switched to peritoneal, short for PD dialysis, which I was able to do that at home with my family in my pajamas before I went to bed. I would do that every night for about 8 to 10 hours at night. My diet wasn't as strict as it was on hemo. I was really able to live a little better being on PD, to be quite honest. Like sometimes I would forget that I was a dialysis patient, as crazy as that sounds. But unfortunately, here recently, with me being a diabetic, the solution that is used in peritoneal dialysis primarily is sugar water. That sugar water, it kept my blood sugars just constantly like a roller coaster, up and down, up and down, up and down. As a result, I was diagnosed also with gastroparesis. That is a paralyzing of the stomach, which the diabetes caused that. So every time I would get sick because the solutions might have been too high or the solutions caused my blood sugars to go too high, I'll end up in the hospital and I'll start right back over doing PD all over again. So I was just in the hospital for 16 days. I just came out about a week ago, and right now I am back to doing hemo. So I'm going to do hemo for a short while to see how my body adjusts. Gives me time to make my mind up on if I'm going to be hemo full time or if I'm going to go back to PD full time. I have been proactive here recently with my search for a living donor. Some of the things that I have done is I've created a Facebook cause page. It's a kidney for FOR, Niesha, Niesha. I have the help of two brothers. They are twins. I believe one lives in Dubai. They help with promoting the page, doing advertisement for the page, just blasting it out and sharing it, as well as I am, promoting and sharing it too. Something else that that was done was some neighbors had got together with my family and done a community barbecue for a kidney for Niesha, spreading the word out about me needing a kidney donor. Also, I recently had some kidney cards made, and those are cards that I can pass out to anyone that has all of my information for the hospital, the blood type that I'm looking for. And lastly, I started a GoFundMe simply because when I was younger, I did not understand the importance of having life insurance. So that is something that I do not have right now. I'm trying to think proactive so that my family doesn't have to worry about burying me when that time comes. So that is just a few of the things that I am actively doing to search for a living kidney donor. I was surprised to learn that the time that you wait for a kidney pancreas was about 3 years, as compared to waiting about 5 to 7 years just for a kidney alone. So I was a bit surprised about that. Nonetheless, I was happy that I qualified for getting a kidney and a pancreas. As far as life expectancy, that's something that I try not to focus on. I focus on the now. I focus on today. I can't focus on tomorrow or much of the future as far as it relates to the life expectancy for me with living with chronic kidney disease. Every day that I wake up, every day that I'm able to be with my family, every day that I am able to celebrate things with friends is an accomplishment. So, whether I'm able to do that for another 5 years, another 10 years, or whatever the case may be, I'm going to be happy, regardless of my expectancy. If I don't get a donor, I'm going to be happy. At the end of the day, I just need a donor. Whether that is a deceased donor or a living donor. I do know the prognosis and the outcome for a living donor is far greater than a deceased donor. There is less chances of your body rejecting the kidney. The overall expectancy of the kidney is greater. So yeah, naturally, of course, I would definitely choose a living donor over a deceased donor. But at this time in my life, whichever happens first is probably the route that I'm going to go. I am tired of missing out on the life that I had. Like, I'm supposed to be in law school. I was due to take my LSAT in November of or December of 2015, and I found out about this November of 2015. So I'm just ready to have my life back, even if it's just a piece. That piece is going to mean so much to me. Knowing that I can be around a little longer for my family and, see my boys continue to achieve goals that they set for themselves, goals that my husband and I have set for ourselves. So a living donor is definitely like my primary way that I would like to be transplanted. A living kidney transplant, my life could or would change. Ultimately, I would probably or not re-enroll, but enroll in law school. I would possibly go ahead and take that LSAT, go ahead and start my future career in law. I have 2 degrees, an associate's and a bachelor's in criminal justice. And right now they're just collecting dust because I don't have the energy, the strength. I stay too sick to even begin looking for a full-time job in the area of law. I would be able to go back to work full-time, which I miss. Like I said before, I would feel like I have a great portion of my life back. My family and I would really be able to travel. We wouldn't have to worry about packing up or having peritoneal dialysis solutions shipped to the state that we'll be in, or worry about finding a nearby dialysis center to go to, or we will just be able to enjoy the vacation, enjoy life. And not saying that we aren't enjoying life, because I am still here and I am making the best out of a worse situation. But ultimately, like, really, really enjoy life. That's what it would mean for me to have a living kidney donor. I'm sharing this story of mine because I want to bring awareness to chronic kidney disease. Many people don't know what we go through daily. You know, you could pass me in the store and say, "Oh, wow, she looks great. Like she's having a wonderful day." Because kidney disease doesn't have a look, you know. So I just want to show one of the many, many, many faces of chronic kidney disease. I am also hoping that sharing my story will, you know, spark some interest in a listener in either wanting to be a donor for me or a donor for someone else, or even simply putting themselves down as a donor now on their ID or driver's license, being a registered donor. Even if we get a few people who decide to now become registered donors, that will mean a lot. Um, so yeah, that is the goal that I'm looking for. Just to show people another face, and to hopefully find a donor, or those interested in becoming donors and now wants to be listed as donors on their ID or driver's license. Thank you all for listening to my story. I hope my story shed some light on this disease. I also hope that many of you are able to share my story amongst your immediate circle of friends and family, on any social media platform that you might be a part of, because you never know what can happen. Just because you, the listener right now, is unable to, doesn't mean that someone um, has not, is not able to, or has thought about this and just doesn't know who to donate to or how to donate or anything like that. Also, don't forget, if you want to keep up with all things A Kidney for Niesha, you can follow my page on Facebook. As I said earlier, it's A Kidney FOR Niesha, Niesha. Anyone interested in making any type of small monetary donation, you can do that via GoFundMe. And again, that is A Kidney for Niesha. Thank you all for taking the time out to listen to my story. And hopefully, one of my next stories will be I'm transplanted. Have a good one.